everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a short but sweet yoga for runners as requested. It'll be about 15 minutes, maybe a little bit less, so just to do after a run. So it's just basically a lower body stretch, opening up the hamstrings and the calves as they tend to get really tight when we run. So we're going to get straight into it. We're going to come to kneeling on our mats and we're just going to tuck our toes under and we're going to do a toe stretch. Our feet often get neglected and we don't usually stretch them out, so this can feel very strange the first few times you do it, but over time your muscles will get used to the sensation and you might start to enjoy it. But we're just going to close our eyes here. If you do need to come out of it, then just gently with control just sit up and then just come back into it when you're ready, as it can get quite strenuous. Just take it easy. Connecting to the breath here as well. When we're in poses like this, we often like to have the eyes open to look for distractions, as it can start to get a little intense. And release, just come up to the top of your knees and then just untuck the toes and just shake them out, maybe come into the hands. This should feel amazing now. Okay, now we're going to sit back on our feet again. We're going to open through the front of the ankles, so I want you to come and sit on your heels, and we're just going to rock back, like just gently, until you can feel an opening in the front of the ankles and the feet. And just bring your hands to heart center and try and hold your balance here. Again, this can feel very weird the first few times you do it, but you'll get used to it over time. And then just rock forward, and again just wiggle those feet out. Now we're going to come to cat-cow, so we're going to come to cow first, so tucking the tailbone under, pushing the heart up to the sky, and then coming to cat. Back to cow. Last time in cow, and then back to cat. We're going to start to open the calves here, so we're going to start with the left foot, so just pushing that left foot out and tucking the toes and just rocking backward and forward, and you should feel a stretch down the back of your calf. Maybe rocking it for a little bit first and then coming to stillness. And then back to hands and knees, and then just switch legs. Do the same on the right leg. Really pushing into those toes to really, and push that heel down towards the back of the mat, and you'll feel a deeper opening. And then we'll just come down onto our bellies. We'll come into a quick cobra. And then we'll just place our right hand across our bodies so we can pull in the left leg, pull it right close to your bum. As long as you can feel the opening in your quad, then you're doing the right thing. You might be up here and be able to feel it if you're really tight, or you might be right down and be able to touch your toes to your bum. Just wherever you can feel the opening in the quad, you'll be able to know if you're doing it right. And just push into that arm to push the heart forwards, and it will just get deeper into the hip flexor. And then just switch legs, so bringing the left hand across the body in front, pulling in that right leg to the bum. Again, if you're here and you can feel it in the quad, then that's fine, or just pulling it to wherever you can feel the stretch. A nice deep quad stretch. that left arm to push the heart forward to get deeper into the hip flexor. And then gently release with control. Firmly root through the hands, we're going to push up to a downward facing dog. So if you run a lot, you probably do have really tight quads and hamstrings and calves, so this downward dog might feel quite tricky. If that is the case, then just come up high onto the toes, bend into the knees, and this might be where you are today, as long as you can feel the stretch down the back of your legs. If you can't, just push deeper into the heels, sink them further back towards the back of the mat, and you should start to feel a deeper opening down the backs of the legs, which should feel lovely after a nice long run. Either staying here, or we're going to bring that right foot closer to the middle of the mat, lift up the left leg and just simply hook it around the right calf. Then we're going to bend that right knee and push back into your downward dog, and this will just change the stretch slightly and get deeper into those calf muscles. And then just switch over the legs and simply put the right foot over the left and push into that calf. Come back to a downward dog for one breath, push back, sink maybe a bit deeper into this pose. Then we're just going to bring that left foot closer to the middle so we can draw that right knee to the chest and place in between the hands and come to a low lunge. We want to really make sure the hips are square here, so if that means you're not as deep, then that's absolutely fine. So just do a little self-adjust, so bring your hands to your hips and just make sure they're facing completely forward, toes facing forward. And as you sink down, you don't want to open up to the left, you want to be pushing into those hips down towards the mat and straight forward. And then we'll just bring the hands to the front knee. Now we're going to rock back into a half split. So simply shifting those hips back towards the back of the left knee, and then just untucking that foot, and then we'll just sink down. Again, we want to have square hips here if possible, but especially for runners, this stretch is usually quite hard the first few times you do it. So we just want to make this self-adjust. So bringing the hips to be square, and then your front leg might be a little bit bent, and that's fine, but you should feel this right hip pulling back towards the back of the mat almost, and the left hip coming forward to the front, and this is going to encourage our hips to square. And then just push. If you want to go deeper into the posture, you can come into a gentle forward fold, but you might be up here and already feel really tight, and that's absolutely fine. You'll just come to wherever you need to be today. Some days this will be surprisingly much harder, and that's just the way it is, so don't worry if you're not getting as deep as you usually do. Now we're going to tuck the back toes under and just bring that right foot through back into our downward facing dog. And then just bring that left knee to nose and place in between the hands and come into a low lunge on the left side. So again, bringing our hands to our hips to create that self-adjust. They want to be both pointing directly forward, and then we can sink into that hip. Placing the hands on the front knee. Really feeling a deep opening through the right quad. shift those hips back, coming into a half split on the left leg. So again, coming up onto that heel. You might be bent in the knee, that's fine, but making sure that our hips are square, so that left hip has the sensation of pulling towards the back of the mat, and the right hip has the sensation of coming to the front of the mat. And then just push your heart down towards the knee if you want to go deeper. But like I said, if you're up here, and you might need some blocks as well to be able, because if you are really tight, you might not be able to reach the floor. So you just bring in some blocks, then you'll be able to slowly edge deeper into the stretch. And plant those hands firmly, so we push through the back toes and bring that left foot back to meet the right in a downward facing dog. And we'll just walk the hands back to the feet, and we're just going to hang here in this forward fold. So we're going to catch our elbows in each opposite hand and just hang here like a rag doll, maybe making gentle movements, just really feeling the backs of the legs open up and release tension. A little bit deeper into the pose, or maybe bending the knees left and then right, and you'll just feel slightly different sensations in the legs. Now coming up halfway lift, maybe bringing the hands to the shins and just feeling a different opening down the back of the legs. Now we're just going to come to seated, wide leg seated forward fold, so just bring that right leg out in front and then just come to seated however on your mat, and we'll just open our legs out to the sides in our wide leg forward fold. You might be here and that's fine, but just as long as you can feel a little bit of an opening whilst they are out, that's the correct positioning. And we're just going to lean forward into our forward fold. So you might be up here and already feel the stretch like really intensely. If you are, that's fine, that's where you are today. If you can come deeper, then you'll just slowly walk those hands down to wherever they come to. Again, you can use blocks to rest on, or resting them on the mat and the floor in front of you. We want our toes to be flexed here, so pointing right up to the sky, and then engaging the legs, so you're not just slumping into it. You can feel the engagement of the thighs, so you want to have the sensation that your knees are pulling up towards your body, toes flexed up to the sky, and this will just encourage you to be able to get deeper into the stretch. Now we're going to come to Janu, so we're going to pull in this right leg, and then we'll just lift up our arms, point our bodies to the left leg, and lean forward over that left leg. I want you to be able to find the connection with your foot, so if you need to bend the leg to get there, then that's fine, but I want you to have this sensation of you pulling your heart down towards your chest. Oh, it's hot now, sun's come out. So maybe hooking the peace fingers around the big toe and just pulling our hearts down towards the knee. Coming up, now we're going to come to pigeon pose. So we're just going to turn that left leg over and just swivel this right leg around to find our pigeon. So our right foot is coming towards our hip. If you are a bit more flexible, then you want to try and bring it to a right angle, but being here is absolutely fine. go tall in your pigeon first of all, maybe bringing those hands slightly behind. And then we'll come into our sleeping pigeons, so just lowering our chest to the mat, using your hands as a pillow for your forehead. Up, and then we'll just step back. We'll open up into our wide leg forward fold, and then just come through to do all the same on the other side. So just bringing in this left leg, reaching its arms up tall, pointing it towards the right leg, and just folding forward. Again, finding the connection, so maybe having the knee bent and pulling that up. You want to have the sensation of your heart coming towards your foot, not your head to your knee. And release. And then we'll come to pigeon on the other side, so just flipping over that right leg, bringing that left leg slightly forward, and then your foot close to your right hip flexor, and we'll go tall first of all, bring those hands back. And then reclining into our sleeping pigeon. Shift onto that left hip. We're going to come into shoelace pose, so bringing this left leg slightly more further in, and then we're going to bring that right leg over the top. So we want to have our knees stacked on top of one another. If you can't get into this position, then you can come into a double pigeon, so have your left leg on a 90-degree angle, and then the right leg on a 90-degree angle, and just come into this variation. Your knee might be right up here, and that's fine. This is a really deep hip stretch, so if you are like this, that's absolutely fine. Or coming into the full variation. The further we push out our feet, like in a straight line, the deeper it's going to be. So if they are here, it's going to be less intense. The further you push them out, the more intense the stretch is going to be. And then we can just, either staying up here as long as you can feel the opening down the IT bands, then that's fine, or edging forward, bringing those hands down into a forward fold. Slowly edging out. Now you can either just switch the legs over and do the other side, or you can twist, so keeping the feet exactly where they are, turning around to the left, using the hands to push yourself around, and you should end up the other way around, hopefully. So if you got lost on the way, the right leg is underneath, the left leg is now on top, either coming to the double pigeon variation, so knees, legs at a 90-degree angle to one another, or bringing the knees to stack on top of one another. Again, if your feet are closer to your body, the less intense it's going to be. And then maybe staying upright and feeling into those IT bands, or coming forward into the forward fold. one side will probably be considerably harder. This one is much harder for me. And then edging out slowly. We'll unravel the legs and come to a Baddha Konasana. So feet together, knees go falling out down to the mat. So you might be up here, that's fine as long as you can feel the opening. If you are up here, then you can use this to push those legs further down. And then release, maybe give those knees a little bit of a shake, and then we'll just come to find a cross-legged position on the mat, however you please. I'm going to roll those shoulders down the back. We'll do a couple of releasing breaths, so inhale, hands go up to the sky, down through heart center, and again, through heart center. Namaste. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed that little post-running yoga stretch. I recommend doing that after every single run, and you'll just notice that it gets easier, so you'll feel a lot looser in your body and a lot less tense. So yeah, look forward to seeing you guys on the mat for some more yoga. Bye.